Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. I haven't chopped on here for a while because I've been so busy. We just recently got a house and we have been in the process of cleaning up, fixing things that need to be fixed, and just a whole bunch of stuff because the kids. Going back to school is great, but with COVID going on, things have been they've been in and out of school because if their classmate gets COVID, then they're considered a close contact, so then they shut down the classrooms and then they're home. So we've had at least one kid home since school started, and not because they got sick, thank goodness. I'm blessed about that, but it's just, it's been a real busy time for us. And today, the little one's home out of preschool because he's considered a close contact if brothers were close contact. So there's that thing too. So it's just really confusing time right now for school and kids in general. Anyway, we're all healthy, we're all safe. It's all good. And I look like a hot mess right now. Don't mind the ugly hat, my earphones. I'm just out here in the yard, actually in the field. I guess I overwatered my plants in this field and my Pikake is blowing up. I had a huge flush come in. I've been out here picking for the past few days, and today I think is the peak of the flush, meaning when the flowers come out. It's called a flush, and yeah, I only have a few rows left. If you don't know what Pikake is, it's also known as jasmine, jasmine flowers. And in Hawaii, they make it into this really beautiful lei. It is a very exquisite, it is a very special lei. You don't just wear Pikake any old day. It's made for very special occasions like weddings and Mother's Day and birthdays, you know, very special occasions. And it's very expensive. And here comes the boys coming home now. So anyway, my grandma recently passed away, and so slowly I've been working at giving away some of the plants because it just breaks my heart to see them get either left behind or destroyed in any way because the land will be developed that the field is on. So I'm going to turn you around and show you what's left of the field. And here is what's left of our field. All that used to be plants back there, all the way up to there. And I'm a part of this group called the 808 Green Thumbs, and I've had them coming and digging out some of these plants to add to their yards to hopefully spread some joy to their families, and hopefully they get a lot of flowers like I did. And as you can see here, I picked this half of what's left of my field, and these are all the buds coming in. These are all the young flower. You don't want to pick those. As my grandma would say, you're picking tomorrow's flower. Don't pick those. But yeah, these are what you would call the yellow buds. And I already picked this side of the field. And as you can tell, here's what a white one looks like. That's kind of an ugly one. Let's get a better example. Let's go to this bush here. I haven't picked here yet. See how white the ruddy ones are? So imagine all these strung together in a beautiful lei. The smell is beautiful. It's just nothing like any kind of jasmine fragrance you'd smell in a store. It's so different. And for me, I'm so spoiled by having fresh Pikake that after a day old, it doesn't smell the same. I like it really fresh when it's just blooming in the afternoon. So I like to make what they call rope leis because they're bigger, they're beautiful. The strands to me are beautiful too, but they just take a lot of time to make. So usually you wait till about noontime to pick them, till they're like nice and big like this. The buds are bigger, the stems are bigger. That way it's easier to sew larger rope leis. So I got this bush and that long bush to go, and this little half bush here. So here we go. Picked all this, just these 3 or 4 rows here. Half rows actually, and half of this bush. I still got here, and these last 2 long rows to go. I'm going to get my bigger basket out. Here we go. Pikake is very, it's considered a very laborious type of flower to be farming. Not many people do it nowadays, especially on a large scale like this anymore. And I just do it for fun because I just can't see these going to waste anymore. That's why when you go to the store and you see Pikake leis are about $9 a strand, or rope leis are about $100 a piece, you'll know why. And the reason why this flush came in just all of a sudden is because I accidentally overwatered this field. I hadn't watered it in months. And that was on purpose because, you know, with the people digging up plants, I didn't want to be getting the ground too wet. So once that had finished, I decided to water and oops, overwatered, and so much flower came out. So right now, see how you pick one by one, and later on, I will show you how I sow it. This flush is amazing. This will probably be the last time that we'll be having a flush like this in this field. Once they start developing on it, I'm gonna have to get rid of all these plants because as much as I'd like to, I can't keep all the plants. I don't have enough yard space in my own yard. A little bit of background on the reason why I have all these flowers here, or these bushes here, Pikake, is my grandma was a Pikake farmer back in the day. The early part of the 60s through the early 2000s. I believe she was doing it in the 50s too, but I don't want to overspeak. But yeah, she was a Pikake farmer, and she would get up every day, pick her flower, sow them, run them to downtown Honolulu to all the flower shops, and then come back home. I really liked to help her. Even after high school, I took some time to help her sow flower, help her drive to downtown because she was getting a little older. So that's where I learned pretty much everything I know about Pikake, because not that she really actively taught me anything, but I would ask her questions every now and then, and she had these those old coffee cans, like literally the old U-Band coffee cans. I think I still have a couple of the cans that weren't used for Pikake, but I found them. And she would tie them around her waist, and so she would have both hands free to pick. She was fast when she would pick. She'd be done picking the whole field by, I think, an hour-ish, depending on how much flower there was out there. But she would round up the neighbors if she needed help back in the day. She would have even her kids all helping her sow. That's why they're not very interested in Pikake that much, because pretty much their whole childhood was spent helping her sow flower. They didn't get to go and play until her flower was done. So, you know, think back to when I was with her on those days, just her and me. And you know, it was fun memories, just remembering. She was a hard worker. She was tight. Oh, she did not like sharing any of the money she made when it came to making Pikake. And I don't blame her looking back on it. It was like $5 for the whole day of helping her. And at that time I was like, wow, that's not a lot. But you know, when you think back on how much work she had to do to make those $5, that letting go of that $5 is really hard for her, you know. But it is a very labor-intensive thing to do. That's why nobody likes to do it anymore. I was here the other day with a contractor, and they were looking at the field and asking, oh, wow, I love these flowers. And they would pick the bloomed ones, the ones that were open. And I go, that's not the ones you pick. You gotta pick the buds. And I guess because, you know, people who don't do this a lot, all they see in the refrigerators at the supermarkets or the florists are, you know, Pikake that's pretty much bloomed out. Like, if it were as bloomed out and we had it, we wouldn't be able to sell it. We have to sell it where it's really tight. The buds are still really closed like this on the lei. Otherwise, no florist would buy it. So people are just not used to seeing it so tight. So even then, I have a hard time buying Pikake because to me it looks too old. But to other people it's perfectly fine, which is understandable because that's all you get. If you don't know somebody that has Pikake, you're not going to get it fresh like this. I remember when I was really young, and my grandma would be done for the day. We would always come out here, walk around in the field, pick up all the flowers she missed. And we'd always tease her like, oh, look how much you missed. And she would laugh. She goes, I cannot pick them all. She's right. Even if I comb this place, I'll always miss a few. But the way I think about it is, at least the neighbors have something to smell at night. I think yesterday when I was picking, I was able to make 3 rope lays out of what I picked. And that took me from when I picked it to when I was done sewing it about 5 hours. And that's just rope lay. Rope lay is actually really fast to make because you use a lot of flour to make those lay. Probably over 1,000 buds per lay. And yeah, imagine if you did strands, I'd be there all night. There were times when I was selling it and by the strand, and oh my god, I was up to like midnight sometimes sewing flour because I wanted to get it done. Because once the next day comes, the flour is considered to me not fresh, so I wouldn't want to sell it, you know. I would feel bad selling it. She had this big commercial refrigerator in the back or in the garage, and she had all the lays lined up in there. And then I would see her like, you know, in wax paper. Yeah, they're all wrapped in wax paper. I would see her like fluffing the wax paper every day, trying to figure out, write the orders up. And, you know, and some she would just end up throwing away, and you could see the sadness in her face, like all that work and just throw away, you know. Just like me, here I am picking all these flowers, and I don't want any, not even a single one to go to waste. So stupid, right? I'm doing it because I like making other people happy, to give them something of our family, part of our, you know, heritage. And, you know, yeah, it makes them happy. Not every day you get a Pikake rope lay from somebody. My mom asked me for a lay today, actually, for her neighbor who's going through some tough times, and hopefully it brought a smile to her face, because it's been fate that me making that lay was went for her, you know. And I'm happy it went to somebody that needed a smile on their face today. To make me happy is to make other people happy.